2018 really, really sucked. That's a heck of a way to begin, isn't it? Well, for me, it's true. You see, for over 7 months of 2018, I laid flat in a hospital bed. In 5 different hospitals, mind you, just being battered from one to another. I'm in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and quite frankly, I didn't know we had 5 hospitals. I only was aware of 3, St. John, Hillcrest, St. Francis. But by golly, there are others, and I found 2 of them. And so for 7 months of my life, over a half a year, I laid there. Just laid there. I had circulation problems, heart problems, problems with my legs. I actually had to learn to walk again, as I had lost the ability to walk completely. And as a matter of fact, on at least 2 different occasions, on 2 different hospitals, I woke up in an ICU, and I was told that during the night, I had flatlined. I'll leave it to you to go look that up if you don't know what that means. But I got to tell you, it brought a certain sharpness of life to mind. It had me look at things in life from a different perspective than I've ever looked at before. Now, the amazing thing was, I had no memory of the event at all. None whatsoever. No memory whatsoever. Some of you know that I record audiobooks for Audible.com. A couple of years ago, I recorded a fascinating book called A Rabbi Looks at the Afterlife. It's available on Audible now, if you'll forgive the cheap plug. This Messianic Jewish rabbi interviewed a number of people who had near-death experiences and recorded what their experience was. And some of the testimonies that they gave were just absolutely astounding. Some were idyllic, heavenly experiences of seeing that light at the end of the tunnel. Others were, they were quite nightmarish, to be honest with you, quite scary, and had profound impacts on the lives of the people that had them. I, on the other hand, I almost felt cheated. I felt when it was over with, I just felt like I had woke up out of one of the deepest sleeps I've ever had, and I felt completely rested. As a matter of fact, had the nurses not told me anything, I would not have known. And I've always wondered if it happened actually more than twice, and they just never felt it was worth even bringing up. But 2 times that I knew about it, and I got to tell you, it's a very sobering experience. And it gave me the idea that I have this second chance in life. For some reason, I was tapped on the shoulder and was told, "Hey, Bill, WB, however you know me by, you got to do this again, dude. You got to go back at it again. You got to try again." So here I am. Because you see, every event in your life is going to result in a second chance of some form or another. Now, not all second chances are quite so dramatic as this. Some of these are very, very subtle, and they are events that happen to you and I on a daily basis. Most of these we take for granted. The one most taken for granted, I think, has to be the answer to the question, did you wake up this morning? Now, think about it. That's another opportunity you have right there. There's another second chance that you have at life. Another opportunity to do something that will impact somebody else. Maybe it's something to make right. Remember that thing you did last week? You know what I'm talking about. Yeah, this could be your chance to make that right, or to do it in a different way, so that you don't make the same mistakes twice. Learning from the mistakes. Did you make it to work? There's another example of a second chance that we all get. And it's one that we also take for granted because, I just looked at some statistics. And the year before I was in the hospital, over 37,000 people died in car accidents in the United States alone. 37,000 people never made it to work. So if you made it to work, understand and accept and appreciate the fact there's you an opportunity there. Did you make it through the entire day at work? Now, that's no small matter, and it's something worth considering when you're looking at the opportunity that you have again, and a new opportunity at that. Because don't forget, on September 11th in 2001, over 2,000 people went to work in New York City, and they never made it through their day at work, and they never returned home again. Second chances come from different events every day. Every day. Every event will come with its second chance. Every attempt that you make, every failed attempt that you make. As a matter of fact, if you don't take anything else away from this at all, I want you to remember this. For every unsuccessful attempt, there is always a second chance. Again, for every unsuccessful attempt, there is always a second chance. Taking a baseball player, for instance, they'll stand at the plate and they'll swing the bat on a pitch and they'll miss. Well, there's strike one. Pitcher winds up, throws it again, swing and a miss, and there's strike number two. Third time it happens, it's strike three, and the batter is out. But the batter is not kicked out. Instead, the batter simply returns to the dugout where he or she will consider what they had done. What kind of mistakes perhaps did they make? How can they avoid making that same mistake again? And they can think about it and brew over it and really let it digest in their mind and in their soul. And then when their turn at bat comes again, they're prepared. Now, again, just like before, they have 3 strikes. Then they're out again. But they're not kicked out again. They go back to the bench, or they could hit a home run. But with every failed attempt is never the end. A failed attempt is never the end. It is merely an open door to another opportunity, another chance. Now, some second chances, though, are very dramatic. Mine were, I would consider them to have been a fair drama. Have you ever heard of Joni Eareckson Tada? Joni, in 1967, dived into the Chesapeake Bay, and she misjudged the depth of the water. She broke her back. And she became paralyzed, not from the waist down. Joni became paralyzed from the shoulders down. Can you imagine living like that? Permanently paralyzed from the shoulders down. Nothing. Absolutely nothing worked. Not her arms, not her legs, nothing. To say that she went through a pity party is not even scratching the surface as to what Joni went through after that incident. How could her life possibly be worth anything? Then she started taking some physical therapy, and it was in her therapy classes where Joni learned to do an amazing thing. Joni learned to paint, and she began painting beautiful pictures. But remember, she's paralyzed from the waist down. Joni learned to paint these pictures by holding the paintbrush in her teeth. And these beautiful paintings that she made began to sell, not just because of the fact of the paintings were painted in a situation that would have been considered just miraculous, but they were just genuinely beautifully crafted paintings. She went on and she founded something called Joni and Friends in 1979. Joni and Friends is an organization to accelerate Christian ministry in the disability community. And she's still impacting people's lives to this day. Another person you may know of is a young lady by the name of Bethany Hamilton. Now, Bethany was is a skilled American professional surfer. And in 2003, she suffered a shark attack in which her left arm was completely bit off by a shark. Lost her left arm completely. But she was not out for the count. She was out, but she wasn't kicked out. She wrote about her experience in a 2004 autobiography called Soul Surfer, a true story of faith, family, and fighting to get back on the board. And what did she do before she wrote the book? She went surfing again. I don't know that I would have done that. Another good example of failed attempts, maybe not so dramatic. Thomas Edison, he's one of my favorites. He's one of my personal favorites. He failed thousands of times trying to create a light bulb. Thousands of times he tried, and thousands of times he failed until it finally worked. He was famously quoted as saying, "I have not failed. I just found 10,000 ways that didn't work." Failed opportunities are merely an open door to another opportunity. Remember that. Take advantage of your second chances. Learn from them and move on. Now, be sure to join me for my next vlog, because we're going to be talking about how your second chances will impact other people's lives. Until then, take care.